Man, I'd give anything for better skin. Roy looked at his reflection in a store window, at the bump on his forehead and the swelling on his chin. Pimple Boy, that's what his friends called him. Behind the glass, he noticed a round-faced doll with a mop of black hair staring at him. Rosy cheeks, Roy observed. Lucky boy. You've never had this problem, huh, Porcelain Boy? Roy muttered. When the doll on the shelf started to seem sympathetic towards his problems, he laughed at himself and hurried on home. Hey Roy, do you ever wash your face? His roommates weren't any more forgiving than his friends were. At 20, his acne was just as terrible as it has been in his teens. That night, he looked at his reflection in the bathroom mirror, at the bottles of ineffective acne medication, at the variety of creams and exfoliants that never lived up to their promise. The bumps on his skin gleamed at him, throbbing with pus, and Roy did do all he could not to pick at his skin. I'd give anything, he whispered, and he meant it. The next morning, his skin looked better already. The zits on his cheeks were suddenly calmed into tame pink swells, no longer taunting him with their sickly yellow heads. His hope was renewed. Morning came and went, as mornings usually did, and Roy's acne continued to fade. His blackheads were the next to go, and soon the pores that seemed like the craters on the moon shrunk too. Whether he washed his face or not no longer mattered. His skin took on a dewy glow regardless. The girls he knew began to drill him on his skincare routine. Some skincare routine, he scoffed, proud of his own luck. Then, Roy woke up with a numbness over his cheeks. It mimicked the familiar tingling of frozen wind, except it burrowed far deeper into his skin. He touched his cheeks and was petrified by how much it felt like the surface of a bathroom sink. In a flurry of panic, he jolted into the bathroom. What he saw in his reflection terrified him. His entire face was eggshell white, smooth as polished marble. No matter how much he leaned towards the mirror, he couldn't find a single pore on the surface of his skin. He was repulsed by how perfect his skin looked, how out of place it seemed in this murky bathroom mirror. The disgust that was caused by his newfound perfection wasn't the worst of his discoveries. When he opened his medicine cabinet, he found the doll from behind the store window, gaping at him. The mop of inky hair remained, but the once flawless porcelain face was now riddled with pustules and swells. The doll smiled, the pimples on its face flaring morbidly. Roy opened his mouth to gasp, maybe even to scream, but he couldn't. His face was taut, completely solid. He was the Porcelain Boy now.